Good morning, everybody. This is Andree. I'm a yoga instructor at JCC in Newton. This is the week after Thanksgiving, which means that we're entering this deep holiday season. I hope you have a wonderful time this week. If you're like me, this is the time of year when we seek more comfort food because it's colder, the days are darker and shorter. So it is even more important to begin to look in a little bit more by doing more restorative type movement, by holding poses, warming up the body from the inside out. So this morning we are going to concentrate obviously on some opening. So we want to prepare the digestive system for an onslaught of food over the holidays. So we are going to do a practice that opens the abdominal cavity, opens the hips, and open the heart. Okay, so we are going to begin in child's pose. What you're going to need this morning is a chair, and then you're going to need 2 blocks, a strap, and either a bolster or 2 or 3 blankets, or any firm pillow that you have around your house. Okay, so we're going to begin in child's pose. So if you have a bolster or a blanket, it's time now to use it. So you're going to place it in front of you, have your knees a little wider than your hips so that the blanket can fit between your thighs. Okay, sitting back on your heels. You are going to slide forward and having your belly and your chest rest on the bolster. You're going to turn your head to the right, to the left. And let's take 5 breaths in that position. Take deep breaths, really concentrating on the breath. Notice which breath, whether you inhale deeper or exhale deeper, you can notice that without controlling the breath. Let's just notice that sometimes the breath changes and you feel like taking a deeper breath, inhaling a little bit more deeply, and exhaling. So just be aware of your breath, and you can either manipulate your breath by increasing the length of your inhale and exhale, or you just be present as you breathe. Now turn your head to the other side. So you're creating a gentle stretch of your neck. Feel the breath move to your belly. Again, being present with your breath. And then you're going to slowly come up. Now let's move the bolster off your butt. Place it by your side. Move your knees together. So now we are going to do child's pose with the knees together so that your belly and your chest are going to be pressing against your thighs. So walk your head forward. Now if you need support underneath your head, then you can take your block and place your forehead on the block. Okay? So extend your arms, so you're preparing the body here to receive downward facing dog. So extending the arms forward, opening the armpits of the shoulders. Let's again take 5 breaths here. Keep monitoring your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling each time You inhale, the belly pressing a little more to your thighs. Each time you exhale, releasing onto the thighs. So you're going to take two breaths this way now. You're going to inhale. As you exhale, at the end of your exhalation, pull the navel in. So you're inhaling, exhaling, pull the navel in. Do one more breath this way. And then shift onto your hands and knees. Take a moment to place the hands precisely on your mat, all 5 fingers separated. Notice where the weight goes underneath your hand. If you have a tendency to have your weight go to the outside of your wrist, bring your awareness to the inside of each palm, pressing between the index and the thumb. Shift your weight a little bit forward until you feel some weight underneath your hands. Now rotate the triceps in. Tuck your toes under and press to downward facing dog. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's come to your knees to child's pose. So we're going to go in and out of dog pose a couple of times to warm up the body. So here, taking a couple of breaths in child's pose. And then inhaling to your hands and knees, shifting the weight onto your hands, tucking your toes under, pressing to downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Exhale to your knees, child's pose. 2 breaths. Inhale to your hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Exhaling to child's pose. Now walk your hands back, tuck your toes under. Come into a squat with your heels up, lifting the knees up, lifting the heels up. And then slowly begin to stand into a forward bend. Take what you need. If you need to place your hands on the block, take what you need. Let your head release. Concentrate on opening the back of your knees. So open the back of your legs. Breathing. And then as you inhale, stretching the spine, place your hands on your hips, come all the way up. Okay, we're going to flow into the couple squats, which are very good to open the hips as well as engaging the core muscles. So have your feet just a little bit wider apart, toes pointing out. You're going to stretch the arms over your head, bring the palms together, and as you exhale, squat. Bring your elbows between your knees. Now, if you're here and you're not able to bring your heels down to the floor, take your blanket and place it underneath your heels. Okay, so let's breathe here. So you're squeezing the knees against your arms, you're pressing the arms against your knees. You maintain a lengthening of the spine, so breathing in, breathing out. When we're holding position, it's very important to connect to the breath. Let your tailbone be heavy. Notice what's happening in your mind right now. Can you shift forward and back and see where your center of gravity is? Now with your next inhale, let's begin to come up. Stretch the arms over your head and exhale the arms down. Okay, let's repeat this again. Inhale the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale. Make sure you have your support underneath the heels so you feel grounded. Keep lengthening the spine up. With your breath, so you take a normal inhale, but as you exhale, pull the navel in at the end of your exhalation. All the way in. And now inhale, come all the way up. Extend the arms up. Exhale the arms down. Okay. Let's repeat this. Inhale the arms up. Palms together. Bending the knees, coming into your squat. Notice if you release it a little bit more into the squat. Press the palms against each other. Press the knees against the upper arms. Press the upper arms against your knees. Now you're going to bring your hands to the floor and then slowly begin to stretch up. Adjust your feet so they point straight forward. Release the crown of the head. Concentrate on the belly right now, so inhaling normally. Exhaling at the end of your exhalation, press the navel in. And now inhaling, come all the way up. Exhaling. Okay, so let's take our blocks. 2 blocks. Kneeling in front of the block. So your knees are hip width apart. You're going to shift back onto your heels. Let your ears rest between your arms, and then you inhale, come back up. Exhale back. Feel the opening in the armpits of the shoulders. Inhale up. Let's do this one more time. Exhale back. Inhale up. Now let's step a right foot forward. Releasing forward. Let your right knee come forward of the ankle. Keep your hands on the block so that you continue to lengthen the spine up. And let's take 5 breaths here. You can close your eyes if you have to, if you like to go deep inside your body as you're holding that deep lunge. Keep releasing a little bit more as you breathe. And then slowly return back to your knees. Stretching back a little bit onto your heels. Inhaling back to your knees. Bring your left foot forward and release the left knee forward. Keeping your hands rooted to the block. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen the front of your spine. So don't force that push, just let the body release into the deep stretch. Keep the head of the shoulders moving down. And then slowly return back to your knees. Keep your hands on the block, stretch back. Let's repeat the first side again, stepping the right foot forward, releasing forward. Now can you bend your left knee, grab your foot. If you cannot grab your foot, then you just bend the knee on its own, see. Now keep the left hand on the block for stability, keep releasing forward. Breathe into the front of your left quad. Feel the stretch there, can be pretty intense. And then slowly bring your foot back down to the floor, pause here, and then step back onto your knees, step the left foot forward. Release the left knee forward. Now you have all these choices. You can stay here, continue to stretch the right quad in this position, or you can bend the knee and grab the foot. Okay. Just breathe into the stretch, releasing into your lunge, into the deep stretch of the quad muscles. And then slowly bring the leg down, come to your knees. Let's move the block to the side. We're going to repeat this again, but before we repeat it, let's go into a child's pose. So walk your hair, sitting on your heels, standing sitting on your heels. Walk forward and see how long can you keep your sitting bones onto your heels as you come into your child's pose. And lower your head down to the mat. Take 5 breaths here. Try to keep the elbows off the floor so you get that really active arms. Feel the stretch around the top of your arms. Feel the stretch on over your ribs. And now let's walk back. Now let's take our blocks. So notice that we are going to repeat the deep lunge, and if you can, holding on to one leg, to one foot, to go deeper into the quad stretch. Now, just observe to see the second time around if you feel that it has become a little more easy to do this position. So step your right foot forward, release the right knee forward. Keeping your left hand on the block, bend your right knee, grab your foot. Again, you don't have to. You can just try to see, can you lift the leg off the floor any amount that you can. If you're able to grab your foot, then pause there and breathe. Can you relax into the stretch even when it is intense? Your muscles are going to thank you once you're finished. Now slowly release to your knees, step the left foot forward. You may begin to feel that warmth moving in the front of your legs. Bending the right knee, grabbing the foot if you can. Just explore here. You know, I mean, we all have different levels of flexibility, but wherever you are, work there. So if you need to be here to work and release forward, then you do it. If you feel that you're ready to do what I'm doing, then you do it. But you should be able to maintain that stretch. And then slowly release onto your knees. Let's move the blocks to the side. Walk your heads forward and press back into downward facing dog. Observe the feeling now in your legs. Sometimes when we stretch the quads, we are opening the back of your legs. You felt that the opening of your legs becomes easier. Continue to fully extend the arms. Very important that the arms are firm. Then you're going to come to your knees. Lower yourself onto your mat. Okay, adjust yourself on your mat. Let's begin in Sphinx. So, feet extended behind you. Pubic bone pressing to the mat. Imagine that you are trying to drive yourself forward. Let the head of the shoulder release down from your ears. Breathe. Don't be too aggressive with your lower back. If you feel any discomfort in the lower back, then you can release forward a little bit more. And then maybe use flow, coming back up, releasing, coming back up. So you have these options. Now begin to extend the arms into a high cobra. Keep the legs firmly engaged. Then exhale, coming back into the Sphinx. Take a full breath here. Inhale to the cobra, high cobra. See, can you keep your pubic bone pressing to the floor while the arms are fully extended. Exhaling to Sphinx. Keep the breath flowing. So we're moving on the breath, but you're not holding your breath in between. So now let's press the hands down, come into your high cobra. Exhale to Sphinx position. Let's do that again. Inhale to high cobra. Now you may want to lift your chin up. Feel the stretch in the front of your neck. Feel the stretch in the front of the body, opening the belly. Exhaling to Sphinx. Now let's place your forehead on your hands. Begin by stretching your right leg and lift it off the floor. If you can, bend the knee and grab your foot. And then press against the floor, bringing your foot as close to your ceiling bones as you can. Exhaling, release. Take a full breath here. Now stretch your left leg up, bending the knee, grab your foot, and lift. Bring the foot as close as you can to your ceiling bones, and release. Place your forehead onto your thighs. Now let's press back to child's pose. Take 5 breaths, 5 more breaths here. And then let's come to downward facing dog. Shift your feet back a little bit, and then inhale into upward facing dog. Come to your knees, stretch your child's pose. Downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right leg into pigeon pose. stretch back. Okay, if you need support underneath your thigh, you put it there. Now walk your hands to your right and then release onto the floor. So you are turning toward your bent knee. You're extending the left leg behind you. So your sitting bones are not on the floor when you do that, so obviously they lift it off the floor. And then let's come back up. And now let's go to the other side, sliding to your left now, placing your other hand on top of your hand. Now let your weight release onto the right thigh, but keep the left hip moving in the direction of the floor. Inhaling to come back up. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Take a moment to extend to the right leg. A little bit more, you may want to bring the right heel down, really open the leg. And then stretch both legs. Let's bring your left leg to pigeon pose. Okay, now turning to your left. Slide your right arm out. Place your left hand onto your right hand. Right hand onto your left hand. Yeah, left hand onto your right hand. Breathe into the twist. Feel the stretch in your glutes and the hamstring. Inhaling back up. And let's go to the other side. Keep releasing the right hip toward the floor while still pressing the left thigh to the floor. And then slowly come back up, pressing back to downward facing dog. Give some TLC to your left leg, pressing the left heel down. And then stretching both legs evenly. And come to your knees to child's pose. Notice how your breath has changed. You may find yourself breathing a little bit more deep. Taking deeper inhale and releasing exhale. And then you're going to sit up. So we are going to do a back bend, a floor back bend. So you're going to take your two blocks. And I just want to say, if you have an extra block, you may wish to put it underneath your sitting bones. Or if you have a blanket, you can roll it up and make sure that your feet are not on a blanket, that the feet are off the blanket. So you position yourself in front of these two blocks. Now, I realize some of you may have knee issue in this pose, so in that case, you can have the legs extended. Now, I've demonstrated the position in other classes before, so whatever you can do with your knees bent, you can do with your legs extended, okay? So, if you decide to go into the Supta Virasana, which is the pose that I'm going to do, you come forward, bring your head to the floor, and then slide the calves down and out, and then sit between your legs. Again, sitting on the floor or sitting on the block. the block should be lower. If you decide to sit on a block, your block should be lower than the block you're going to use to recline on. Okay, so now keep your hands behind you and get that lift in the spine. So it's important when you move into that pose that you open the chest even before you move into it. Okay, so here by pressing your fingers back, lift the sternum, lift your chin. And then press your hands on your feet and begin to go back. Now you may want to hold the block, make sure that it doesn't shift underneath you. Once your thoracic spine is on the block, let your head release back onto the other block. Okay? Now, extend the arms over your head. Get that opening in the front body. Keep the knees rotating toward each other. Even if your legs are extended, same action in the legs, legs rotating in. Give your body a chance to release into that pose. Now place your hands on your feet. Keep your head back, keep the chin back, lift from the sternum and sit in an upright position. Now this is how we're going to do it again. And so if you then judge properly how the block was, and you feel the block was too high for you, too hard to access, then you could move the block that's right behind you lower. So let's try this, and then you can decide which one you want to do the second time around. Okay, so you go onto the block. Now, I just want to say that I didn't tell you that before, because you should always experience the one that you think you cannot do, and if it's really, because you may surprise yourself. But if you could not do it because it was too excruciating, then you move on to a more modified version. And so now you go back onto the lower block, place your head onto the high block. So that may be also very nice for people who feel that their neck is always a little bit of a trouble. Okay, so here you can extend your arms over your head, open the side body, open the belly, breathe into the pose. So for some of you, you may feel that, wow, this is much easier for me, and I'm working in a better position. So that is where you want to go back to. But you should always challenge yourself and see, are you ready to move on to a more extreme pose? Again, making these choices day to day. Each time you do yoga, do anticipate that you're in the same body. Now bring your hands to your feet. And then again, head back, chin lifted, sternum, bring you up. So we're going to do that one more time. So now you experience both. You experience a more challenging version with a block on the high end, and you experience a more manageable version with a block on the lower end. So now you can choose for this one which one you want. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the high block because I'm already opening. I can feel my body opening. So it's important to listen to your body so that when the body begins to open, you know it. So recline back onto your block, onto your support. Bring your head to the other block. Extend the arms over your head. Get that wonderful stretch in the front body. Press the sitting bones to the floor. Rotate the thighs in. Let's take 5 more breaths here. One more breath. Place your hands onto your feet. Keep the head back. and come up. Sit here for a moment. Again, observing if your legs, your quads feel a little bit open. Place your hands behind you and use your arms to lift the spine. So when we're sitting in this position, this is called Virasana in Sanskrit. The one we did before is a Supta Virasana supported by block. Supta means to recline. So here this is just the Virasana. And the appropriate Virasana, as you have to open the chest, you're lifting the sternum, but you don't want to push the belly forward, okay? So the belly is engaged. You're using your arms to release the head of the shoulders down and go into a concave thoracic spine. So pay attention to that because we are going to do camel pose, and this is the place where you have to lift. That's where the back bend starts. Okay, so let's move the blocks out of the way. You're going to take either 2 blankets or a bolster, and you're going to place it on your heels. So you're sitting now on the bolster or your 2 blankets. So this is another option, you know, this, when we sit on our heels, there can be a lot of discomfort happening in the body. It could be the knees, it could be the tight squat, it could be the inability to really lengthen the spine. So for some people, just sitting on the block can help out. But sometimes, if you really want to access the stretch of your, the front of your ankle, sitting on the bolster can keep the back of the knee from compressing, and it can be comfortable. So one solution doesn't work for everybody. So find the one that works for you. Now, you're going to stand on your knees, so keep that bolster there. Okay, let's extend the arms over your head. Engage with it, so pull the navel in. Rotate the front of your thighs in. Now lift the chin, lift the sternum, begin to go back into your back bend. Don't go all the way, just partway. And then come back up and sit for a couple breaths. Let's do this again. Standing on your knees. This time, we're going to change where our arms are. Let's start with our hands, our thumb right at the top of the sacrum, okay, which is right on the side where these little dimples are on our back. Okay, bring the elbows in. So even before you do anything else, bring the elbows in. You feel already that opening in your chest. Now, lift your chin up. Then press your thumb in and up. Lift it to the shoulder blades. And then let go and bring your hands to the bolster. Now, your head, let your head release back. Or just keep your head forward if your neck is bothering you. Keep the hips moving forward. And then inhale to come back up and sit on your heels or on the bolster. Take a full breath here, reconnecting yourself. Now remember, these poses now, as this is a symmetrical pose, meaning you're trying to work each side of the body evenly in a symmetrical movement. So avoid bringing one hand down and then one hand and then the other hand. However, that being said, we're going to try this, okay? So come on your knees, place your left hand on your hip, right, stretch your arm up, reach up, and then bring your hand to the bolster. Now, readjust the shoulders to face forward, and bring your other hand to the bolster. Now place your left hand on your hip, come back up, excellency. So try to move mindfully between sides so that you really explore each the function of each side. So let's come on your knees, stretching the left arm up. Place your other hand on your hip. Then begin to lift the chin and bring your hand to your bolster. Realign your shoulders and bring your other hand to the bolster. Let your head release. If there's any compression in the neck, bring your head forward. Keep the hips moving forward. And then inhale. Come back down and exhale. Now, can we do this pose with both hands reaching for the bolster at the same time? So if you find yourself always having to reach one arm first before you reach with the other hand, then you should mindfully do one side and then do the other side. So don't always go back the same way, okay? So let's come onto your knees, extend the arms out, reach up, look up, keep looking up, begin to go back. Open the arms out, bring your hands to the bolster. Press against the bolster, press your hips forward. And then slowly coming back up and sit on your heels. Breathe. Now let's move the bolster out of the way. Adjust yourself, centering yourself on your mat, and let's go to downward facing dog. Concentrate on the spine now. Now, in fact, let's all bend the knees, lift. Let's do like puppy dog. Keep the tailbone lifted as your knees release toward the floor. Come to your knees. Bring the arms alongside your body into child's pose. Let your shoulders broaden. 5 breaths here. And then slowly sit up. We are going to sit in Dandasana. And I would suggest for today that we sit on a block, because we did a lot of work on the spine. Sit on a block or a bolster. Okay, so sitting with your legs in front of you. Sometimes it's good to have more height, even if you can do it without sitting on a support. Sometimes it's better to use it. So breathing in and breathing out in this position. Keeping the chin lifted. It's really, I noticed in myself, it's really easy to let the chin begin to come down. And we are going to do a twist now. So when we do twist, it's good to have the chin lifted because we're going into a spine extension. So you're going to bend your right knee, bring it in, and then move your left leg slightly out to the side. Hold on to the chin and lengthen the spine. Breathe in this position. Now you're going to stretch your left arm up. Reach up so that as you're rooting the left sitting bone, you're extending up. Lean back toward the twist, so lean back and to the right, but then move your chest and your knee toward each other, come into the twist. Now, slide the belly across, press your knee against your arm. Let's take 5 breaths here. Using the breath, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling into the twist. And then slowly come back to the center. Extend both legs. Breathe here. Now bending your left knee, bring your foot all the way in, move your right leg a little bit out to the side. Lengthen the spine. Stretch your right arm up. Place your other hand behind you. Lean back into your left to bring your arm as low as you can onto your leg, and then press your knee against your arm. 5 breaths. With your head, you know, you can do whatever you want. You could look straight forward the way I am now. You could look toward your right leg, or you could look over your left shoulder. Again, there's no rules. They each have a different effect on the mind. And then slowly releasing center, stretch both legs. Now we are going to do a supported claw pose, alasana. Okay, and we're going to touch on shoulder stand. We're not going to stay in very long in the shoulder stand. We're just going to touch on it. So move your bolster out of the way. Take your chair. So we're going to use a chair for our feet. So it doesn't matter what chair you have. You're going to use a blanket. The blanket is going to be to support the shoulders, not to be underneath your neck. Very important to know the difference. Okay, so you can have 1 blanket or 2 blankets. It depends on your neck. So people who have a long neck, they benefit from 2 blankets. Okay, so you want the running edge to be facing the chair. Okay, you're going to sit on a blanket. You're going to go back and make sure that when you go back, your shoulders are on the blanket. So if you can see, my shoulders are on the blanket. So scoot in. You should be about a couple of inches away from the edge of the blanket. Have the arms by your side. Rotate the arms in. So keep your arms straight back, straight against your side. Make sure your mat is your chair is centered. Now you're going to bring your feet onto the chair. Interlace your fingers. Press the elbows down. Lift the front of your thighs up. Engage the belly. Now place your hands on your back of the chair. Stretch one leg up. Stretch the other leg up. Shoulder stand. Bring the right leg down. Bring the left leg down. Interlace your fingers. Lift between the shoulder blades. Place your hands on your back. Left leg up. And right leg up. Shoulder stand. Left leg down. And right leg down. Extend the arms over your head. And then slowly roll down to the mat. Keep the arm extended, pause there. You're going to slide the blanket underneath your hips. With your knees bent, shoulders, shoulder blades resting on the floor, hands on your belly. Take 5 breaths here. Close your eyes. And then roll to your side. So we're going to practice Setu Bandha. So for Setu Bandha, you definitely need either two blankets Or if you're lucky like me, you have a bolster, you use a bolster. You're not going to need your chair for now. You're going to take your strap, sit on the bolster. You're going to take your strap, open, make a loop, and place the strap around the upper thigh, and then close in, knees together. You want that strap to be nice and tight to keep your legs together. You may also have your block by your side if you feel like you may want to block between your knees as you go back. So let's start here. Right. So going back, you want to adjust on the bolster until your shoulders, your head and your shoulders are near the floor. And now you stretch your legs. If you have the block like I have, squeeze that block. The strap is helping you keep the legs together. Now let's extend the arms by your side. Close your eyes. Breathe into the front of your body. Feel that opening in the abdominal cavity. Notice that the legs want to move away from the block. So keep that action in your legs. So this is not a very relaxing pose. It's partly relaxing for the upper body, but the legs are active. So that inner rotation of the thigh is important to keep the sacrum broadening. Now, if that's still not working out for you, you feel, well, it doesn't feel good on my back, you can definitely bend your knees and plant the feet. So let's take 5 more breaths here, or even 10 breaths. Keep reaching forward with your heels. So keep those legs awake. Pay attention to your in-breath. The in-breath opening the rib cage. Exhaling, releasing. That's position, except for the legs, there's effort in the legs, should be totally comfortable. There should be no distress in your body. Be with the breath. Before we come out, let's take a few breaths, controlling the breath. So take a deep inhale. Hold the opening in your chest. And then slow exhale. Take a normal breath. Let's do it again. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Normal breath. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Now bend your knees. Remove the block. Place your hands on the floor, keep your head back, lift yourself off the floor. Remove the strap. Now you're going to sit in front of the bolster, and I would suggest maybe you use a strap for this too. It's recline couples pose. So place the strap over your head. You bend your knees and you place the strap, open it up enough. You can do that. Place the strap underneath your feet. So the strap comes to the inside of your thighs, supporting the hips. Now adjust here, work your sitting bones toward your heels, and then slowly recline onto the bolster. Now if you feel your head is too far back, you take a block or a pillow and place your head on the pillow. Okay, place your hands on it. Let's extend the arms up first to the leg. And now place your hands on your belly. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of your sitting bones on the floor. Feel the weight of your knees releasing out. And as if you're beginning to let go. No control of the breath, but only mindful breath. You're aware that you are breathing. We are only alive in this moment. I remember Muhammad Ali saying that quote from him. The past is blurry. The future is misty. And the present is clear. So if we are too much in the past or too much in the future, we forget to be alive in the present. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Now take your feet out of the strap. Come up. And let's move the bolster up to the side. And for a couple of moments, just lie flat, feet wider than the hips, shoulder blades down your back, arms resting by your side. Let the whole body relax. Close your eyes. Shavasana. And when you're ready, bend your knees into your chest. Hug yourself. Roll to your side. And come up to a seated position. Use your support to sit on so that again there is no stress in the spine. Let your arms rest by your side with your hands on your knees or your thighs. You're going to bring the palms together to the center of your heart. When you cultivate a grateful mind throughout the year, not just on one day. So every day if we wake up and think about what we are thankful for, it connects us to what is good in our lives. It puts into perspective what is may not be so good in our lives. So let's take a deep inhale here. Exhale, lower your head forward, bow to yourself with gratitude. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.